haven't wanted to let that fear and those feelings take over because I want to experience the thing or do the thing, whatever it is. But at the same point, I've been so scared to do it. So I guess it's more than just normal nerves, because you're going to get nerves for things, especially when you haven't done them before. But it's more than that. It's really feeling, or for me anyway, it's really feeling that I'm not worthy or not good enough, or I'm just in general not enough for these things. Hey, it's Cheryl, and welcome to Secrets of a Survivor podcast, where I'm sharing my story, my challenges, and my learnings along the way, both business and personal. Basically, all the things. If I can do it, then so can you. So I'm here to help you on your way and be the person I wished I'd had. So let's get started with today's episode. Hello and welcome to today's episode. So today I wanted to talk about imposter syndrome. And this is something that I have experienced a lot. And it's kind of plagued me for years now, really. In the last couple of years, I've really worked on this one, and I've tried to really reframe my mindset on this to make me feel more confident and therefore not experience it as much. So many people experience imposter syndrome for many different reasons, and probably in quite a few different ways. But imposter syndrome can loosely be defined as doubting yourself and your abilities and feeling like a fraud. It disproportionately, I suppose, affects high achieving people who find it difficult to accept their accomplishments. And I think that's where I've kind of found myself doing it, is as I've started to achieve things or do things, that's when I've found it really hard, and that's when I've started experiencing it. But overall, it affects many people in various different ways, as I've said, and many question when they have these feelings whether they're deserving of the thing that they're getting it about. So for me, my experience has always been like who am I to be asked to this dinner, for example. Like when I started getting invited to zero dinners, I was just like, why me? Who am I to be doing that? When I started getting invited to do or be a guest on webinars, again, it's like, why me? Why? Or who am I to be doing this webinar? But it also comes down to things like not just doing and achieving things, but also it kind of goes hand in hand a little bit with like self-belief and self-worth and confidence, because I'd have the feelings of when I do a reprice, who am I to be charging that amount? That I'm not worth it. I'm a fraud. They're going to find out I'm not good enough. And I suppose all of the things come back to, I'm afraid somebody is going to find out that I'm not good enough, or I don't know enough, or I am not enough, or what would people think of me, kind of thing. And it's been, as I said before, it's been a thing that as I've started doing more, I've got it more and more and more. I've always had some kind of feelings of it, of not feeling good enough and that. But it's really, really honed in when I've started going to things and doing things that I hadn't done before, and probably not the norm for many people when you're an employee in a business. So I guess it kind of has come more with the business, and as I started pushing myself. And it's been crazy, really. It's been one of those things where I haven't wanted to let that fear and those feelings take over because I want to experience the thing or do the thing, whatever it is. But at the same point, I've been so scared to do it. So I guess it's more than just normal nerves, because you're going to get nerves for things, especially when you haven't done them before. But it's more than that. It's really feeling, or for me anyway, it's really feeling that I'm not worthy or not good enough, or I'm just in general not enough for these things. So I want to share with you some of the things that I've been doing to work on my mindset here and to help me with those feelings when I get them. So one thing that's kind of ongoing, really, and because a lot of mine is thinking, who am I to achieve, or why am I at this level? Why am I doing this thing, or whatever, has been to try and reframe it. So when I'm feeling low and not good enough, my brain automatically goes, let's find all the times that you've been rubbish, or you've done this, or you failed, or you wasn't enough, and let's remind you of all those times, and so on. So I now reframe it when I'm getting those feelings and looking for evidence that, or looking back at things to think, right, well, I can do this because when I did this and this, I did that kind of thing. So, or when I was asked to do this before, for example, when I was asked to be a guest at a webinar, the first time, absolutely petrified, but was with some lovely people, so I kind of got through it. Then the second time when I started having the feelings again, I was like, well, last time I got through it, so this time I'll get through it. So it's a case of trying to reframe your mind into thinking that. And because it's so easy to, when you need to look for those things, not being able to find those things, is I write down all the things. We call it wins of the week on a Friday. As a team, we all share our wins of the week. But I kind of started doing that a lot sooner than I did it with a team. And I started writing down once a week all the things I achieved that week. And it's something that I did with my coach, Shelley. And it's something that I now do religiously, is write down the things that I've achieved. And I can do this. Sometimes I do it on a daily basis when I'm feeling really rubbish. Sometimes I do it on a weekly basis. Sometimes I do it on a monthly. It all depends on how I'm feeling. But I have found that writing down a thing, and it could even be something as simple as I kept the kids alive over half term, which is quite a flippant thing to say, but you've got through half time, you've achieved something, so it is an achievement. So next time, it's that. And I guess this kind of helps with imposter syndrome and all the other feelings of self-worth and not feeling you're good enough and things. But I do keep a list, and then when I'm having a low day, I'll go and look at it and give me some confidence. But especially when I'm having the imposter syndrome feelings, I can go and look at my list and I can prove to myself, well, I did it then. And that really, really does help. So start making a list of your achievements and your wins, because even if you don't think you need it right now, and obviously you're going to be on a high when you have the wins, so write them down, because then when you are feeling low or you're feeling like an imposter, you can go back on them and look and remind yourself just how fabulous you are. The second thing I do now as well, and I guess this was really hard at first, but I embrace the feelings because it shows that I'm pushing myself outside of my comfort zone and I'm doing something new, I'm doing something scary, and I just need to push it in my mind and embrace it and go, I'm doing this and I'm feeling this way because I care, because I want to be good at it, or because I want to do it well. And every time I start feeling comfortable again and I go to these events and I feel comfortable and confident in being there, I then push myself again further or the next thing happens, like we've won an award and I'm just like, oh my God, who am I to win an award? I don't deserve this, blah, 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 blah. But then I remember that we're pushing ourselves again further. So all of those times I push myself, the feelings flood back, and then I start doing the same again. And it's going to happen. And I know it's going to continually happen. And I know it's going to be a work in progress. But I also now have those tools to help me not feel that way when it happens, or to try and embrace it and reframe that in my mind. Some other tips, don't make it about you or what you know. So when you are feeling those things, just remember that you don't need to be the best or like the best person in the world or know all the things or do all the things. You just need to know more than the next person or the person you're talking to, the person you're helping. And I'm going to use webinars again as an example here, because being asked to be a guest on a webinar is really scary. I hated it. Not hated it. The first time I suppose I hated it, or the lead up to it, because I was just like, oh my God, what if they ask me a question I don't know? Oh, what if I don't have all the answers? Why am I the one telling other people this? But then I had to remember, I'm telling them for a reason. I'm helping them. So, and I know more than them. So I'm always going to know more than them. And they're not going to know when I cock up either, because they don't know that I've forgotten to say something or whatever. So, and that kind of leads me on to my next point as well. You don't need to know all the answers. Just enough are we talking about at the time. And if you are asked a question, like in a Q&A, and you don't have to answer it like that, you can have time and think about it. Or if you really draw in a blank, it's fine. Just say, great question. Let me have a think on that and I'll come back to you. And they'll be fine about that. Nobody has it all figured out, and nobody can answer every question immediately or know everything. And if they say they do, they're lying. So there you go. And then the last couple of things, I suppose, is remember that you're telling yourself a story. That's not true, for a start. You've been asked to attend this thing or do this thing or whatever it is. You've been asked for a reason, and that's because you are you and you are good at what you do. But most importantly, you just need to remember that you are enough and you can do it. So I hope this has helped, and there's probably loads more tips out there. So if you've got any tips, then please do share. That'd be great. And thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you'd like more help and support, check out the show notes for links to my website, socials and YouTube channel. Please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to share and tag on your social posts. And if you wouldn't mind leaving a review, I'd be really grateful. Thank you so much again. I just want to leave you with this thought. You are strong, you are capable, you are lovable, and you are brave. But most importantly, you are enough. You've got this.